你好，我叫帕特，你呢？And this is little Susa. 你好，way, way. He's not a fan of being in the spotlight. But today I am going to be going over some of the changes and developments in my life and in Sunflower Simulator, which was my main priority back when before all this school and boyfriend stuff started happening. Just gonna get this full screen. Okay, cool. I think that's what I was looking for. Hello, hello. Sting testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, that sounds like it's working. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's see where we. It's been a long time since I did a stream or video regarding Sunflower Simulator. But you guys like that goat? That's a cool ass mountain goat. Anyway, moving on. Here is what we've got so far for Sunflower Simulator. It's been uh, divvied up into a bunch of different um, files and folders. Some of these existed before, a lot of them do not. Oh, I think that's icon. That icon is just to show that it's a super class. Okay. So, Sunflower Simulator. Right now the main game file is a little over 1,250 lines of code. That is the point in which Claude, ChatGPT, all the AI bots start having difficulty not fucking up all your code. Um, they will try to do like excerpts or snippets where it's like rest of code here in a little comment, and they'll be like, just change this part. If you like copy and paste what it gives you, the whole thing breaks. They just hallucinate entirely new variable names, the scopes of things, depending on where the copy paste or message limit cutoff point is at the end of the context window. It won't even do like brackets, or it'll stop like mid line, like system.out.println, and won't even put in the n for print line. Point being, I'll get to it once I finish giving a tour, but the three coming tasks are, by the way, if it looks like I'm distracted or looking down a lot, I am giving little kitty boy good stretches. Um, yeah, so just look at his face for a second. Isn't he sweet? He's my Cody buddy. Um, so 1,250 lines of code. means that it's getting a little long, and vibe coding it entirely isn't working. I think when I was doing the videos, I was doing zero vibe coding whatsoever and just like open source, watch me write this. Now I'm doing some vibe coding because it's faster and it's so painstaking to type everything. And I'm expelled from my university. We'll get into that later. So I don't really have to prove to anyone how smart I am. I'm just trying to build shit. So if I run into problems, such as Claude not really liking files that are 1,000 lines long or more, um, learn from them as I go rather than to make learning and getting a grade and doing things the right way the end result, end all be all. Um, so yeah, just we'll just do a little tour of the changes we've made since like 6 months ago when we did our last video. Um, as you can see, I've got some major updates already. Uh, Fully every single menu option should be available. Um, it should be when a new game is started, a player has should have the ability to do every single menu option. Now, whereas two or three of them were broken, I think the last time, or coming soon, the last time that we played with this idea and concept and development. Since I'm no longer trying to save my brain power for passing calculus or net-centric computing, this is like my main purpose in life now, rather than, like Dunkin' Donuts drudgery or saving up enough money from Ubering and DoorDashing to one day buy property. I, can't make having a boyfriend my purpose in life because, in my experience, that makes the boyfriend really hate you. Uh, Too many expectations. You need to just be able to fuck off and work on something like this or chill when until he misses me again. You could argue, oh, it's not how it should be. Someone else should be able to treat you better. Well, bullshit. First of all, there aren't that many fish in the sea when you're a gay man, let alone one that has like more traditional values and believes in love and romance and whatnot. But to get them to like stay, choose me, like I will go down with this ship. Is what I'm saying. Rather than take my chances elsewhere. Um, he's the one for right now. He's the one, and he's really all I have left, besides, my mom and brother and cat. Now that I'm expelled and working a new job that's, shitty fast food service after getting fired from the video game store. But, if I were to give any lessons, I wouldn't say don't post your opinions on social media because I think that's a coward's game. And I wouldn't say don't have your face and workplace and college on there because that is also a coward's game. And I wouldn't say you know, don't speak negatively of Charlie Kirk or do not encourage violence either. Because again, that's a coward's game. Um, you have to have the strength and the desire to win, especially if you're inspired by something like protecting your community. Um, if the university expels me because of my behavior of incitement, I'll that is really saying when the charge is that I got too sassy with my tweets, um, that I tweeted off campus, is they're really just saying free speech is not for our political opponents. Um, we ally ourselves with Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, and the Trump administration, and free speech is not for political opponents. Um, you know, if they overturn my expulsion from the appeal, then I take it all back. But otherwise, I'm adjusting to the new reality of the way the world is. Like, we know who's in charge here. I don't need a bachelor's. I have always felt like I can learn things on my own with my own experience. But hey, I might lie on resumes and say I have a bachelor's so that I can at least get past any AI filters and sit in front of an HR person and explain my case. There's a possibility that HR person is the same kind of snooty white bitch that expelled me twice, but there's also a possibility that I have a sympathetic ear and thus a job. Anyway, back to the code. Um, yeah, where are we at? Okay. Um, Sunflower Simulator. Let's just do like a quick little tour. Uh, the whole gameplay loop right now is a little long in the Sunflower Simulator class. One of our first steps once we start debugging, um, is to modularize this a little bit. So next video, you should probably see uh, quite a few more um, files, or at least, yeah, yeah, quite a few more files, um, because we're gonna break this lengthy file up into a few different ones. But the changes that were made besides modularization is the build menu works now. You can craft a flower pot or a garden plot expansion. When I say it works now, you can craft a flower pot. For some reason, the garden plot expansion is not counting from zero, or whatever the problem seems to be, or it's counting a flower pot as a garden plot or something. Point being, uh, the energy requirement to do a garden plot expansion is higher than the player starts with, and currently there is no way of increasing your maximum energy. So right now you're just stuck with the gameplay loop of buying seeds and growing them in plots or pots. Uh, but that brings me on to saying flower pots can be crafted for 20 credits and 2 energy and placed from inventory. So you hold the flower pot in the backpack and then you place it, um, but you can also harvest it while it's still a seedling and keep the pot. Um, that's going to be later introduced as like what should I say, like a side quest or achievement sort of thing. It's not a valuable way of making money, but certain things may ask you to bring them a seedling of a specific type. One moment, I got a text message from the aforementioned baby doll. Okay, so sorry about that. I am back. All right, so other changes that were made. New garden plots cost increasing amounts of energy and credits. Yes, that's the problem. Let me just put that in there to make garden plots. Updated planting logic to handle flower pots with restrictions. So that is referring to the fact that placing a plant in a flower pot makes it so that you don't have to weed it every day. Um, Anytime you're checking your plants, the ones that are in flower pots don't need to be weeded. But because there is no groundwater, they get double durability penalty um, whenever they aren't watered. I'm not saying the durability penalty is a really like functioning or relevant or useful part of the game just yet, but it's in there. So I'm messing around with the like amount of days or whatever, but ideally it's gonna be I think like 7 days is the yeah, okay, sorry. 7 days is like the max amount of time you can go without watering before a plant withers, and eventually it'll be incorporated into the game that uh, if it runs out of durability or if you neglect to water, then the durability decreases faster and faster and faster until by day 7 it always truncates to 0. That is a withered plant that you killed because you didn't water it for a week, and it's outside. Uh, that double penalty for a flower pot would mean like 3 days, maybe 4 if you're lucky. Updated harvesting logic for flower pot special behavior. The idea is you can take the flower pot and the plant out instead of just placing the flower pot. So whenever you sell a so you can sell a sunflower seedling in the pot, and that is worth, a lot more than a sunflower seed, possibly more than a bloomed sunflower by itself because it includes the pot and used for like quests. Um, long term, I like the idea of different farms that you can move to with different, game rules. Like this one's in the desert, so everything needs to be watered a lot more, or whatever. Uh, that way, even if you do New Game Plus and move to a different farm or outside of the starter area, you could pick up and take your flower pots with you. Uh, Whereas the garden plot, you would not be able to do that. The other restrictions for flower pots is no bushes, no trees, and no 4-star or higher difficulty plants, um, such as gosh, now I don't remember. Oh, the bird of paradise is going to be a 4-star difficulty plant, so it can't be planted in a standard flower pot. Now, these are just like the first two build categories: garden plots and flower pots. Garden plots and flower pots. It rhymes. Um, so build is going to be essentially the major progression gate until we can implement achievements. Once again, got to respond to Baby Doll. He's the top priority. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So, hint system for expansion after day 30. We'll move over to that file now while I explain it. Hint reader. It works basically the same as Dream Reader. Pretty sure Dream Reader was already a thing in my last updates, but if not, it loads and randomly selects dream text files, which we have been writing. There's 15 of them now, but obviously we're going to have to do a session where we add a lot more dreams. Um, I want possibly at least 100, and then maybe to eventually associate different events with dreams. So, like weather or uh, getting a quest or whatever. Right now, the hints are also kind of structured as dreams. Um, I don't know why the hint folder isn't showing up in here, but um, it exists. I can point to it. Um, in yeah, right. Sunflower Simulator, hints.txt, saves. Saves is showing up, but not development notes or hints.txt. Also, flowers CSV is supposed to be in this folder as well. Um, but they don't really show up necessarily in the project explorer. Um, but Dream Reader and Hint Reader both pull from these folders. In the case of Dream Reader, completely randomly. In the case of Hint Reader, there's more. In the case of Hint Reader, it's supposed to be more directed. You get a hint file if yeah, there's the random chance of it. Um, if certain conditions are met. I believe, yeah, get specific hint is right now the only hint that's available is one that suggests um sorry. One that suggests after day 30 that you check out the build menu option. I mean, it's got some flavor text to go about doing it, but yeah, if you haven't built a garden plot by day 30, then it recommends within the dream structure, why don't you try the build option uh, to kind of nudge the player along if they're, you know, being loosey goosey about, you know, not trying things and letting days pass. Um, you know, and to let them see to kind of nudge them in the direction of the purpose of the game. The second hint, I believe, is also already exists, even though it's not implemented in the game code. Shop selling. So if it isn't specifically pulling the build expansion hint, it will pull the shop selling, or it will pull a random one. I haven't implemented when to specifically pull this hint, but um, for now, it's just hey, you can sell your plants at the shop menu option, and it's all dream text coded for the flavor text. Um, basically, that's gonna be put in at an even earlier time, like day 7 or something. If you haven't sold a flower yet, here you go. But I want to make it so if you know what you're doing and you're trying to speed run it, that the build expansion and shop selling achievements, obviously we haven't implemented an achievement system yet, but they're both achievable within seconds of starting the game. It's gonna be 1 day's worth of energy and not beyond the max to expand the first garden plot. And you start with a mammoth sunflower seed, which, while not profitable to sell, immediately counts as having sold your first flower. So day 1, you can get both of those right off the bat and get what will be um, further build opportunities once you've done those things, once you've gotten those achievements. Um, I thought about doing like a regular level up system. I still might at some point, but right now I'm doing progression based instead of experience points getting you to level 2. It's more like you got these 2 achievements, now there are more options available to you. Because I still want it to be kind of like sandboxy, where it's not you must do this as I describe what you must do, but you know what I mean. So yeah, those are the hints. That's hint reader, dream reader. Um, garden plots, I'm pretty sure is mainly the same. Are they watered, weeded, fertilized? Um, is it a flower pot, in which case it doesn't need to be weeded, but it does need to be watered. Um, Soil quality. I don't know why, but for some reason, Claude's decided that flower pot soil would start out as good instead of average. Right now, soil quality doesn't really affect anything. I don't think fertilizing affects soil quality. This is a ghost stat that just remains in the game. But we can build off of it later. Journal I'm most proud of because it has the save, load, and, free uh, adding of new entries. Um, so you can just write, like fuck your mom in there, and it saves into the file, and it makes it more of a it gives it a little bit more customization than a text-based game where it's like wire n might uh, typically have. You can just do little notes to yourself like I love you. Player one really hasn't been changed much. We add the journal entries. I think we still need uh, instead of telling you that basically it'll tell you to sorry, uh, three plants grew overnight or whatever. I need to fix it so that it actually says the types of plants that advanced each day and not just all your plants. Three plants grew overnight, and then you see, but I see two are still seeds. Only one is bloomed, kind of thing. So there's like a logical error bug there that I still need to fix. But overall, I'm pretty proud of this. The journal saves the journal entries and writes them to the same CSV as the player, and I'm saying CSV, it's a text file, as the player save file. So together, these two methods create the save file for um, whoever's playing. And it's time stamped too, which is pretty hard to do. Um, you type in your name at the beginning of the gameplay loop. This was all in the last time we recorded updates on Sunflower Simulator. But um, you type in your name and it recognizes who you are. It says, so welcome back, Pat, or welcome back, baby doll. Uh, if you've ever played before and it saved your file, and then it'll load your garden plots, your journal entries, and your player data. Uh, so I guess there's three different files feeding into these save files. Lots of dependencies, and I'm, you know, planning on making even more dependencies by modularizing this 1250 line file. The only other major change is that originally we were going to have flower be a superclass, and mammoth sunflower be a subclass, and then every other type of flower be a subclass. Um, Maybe even further extending it from there, like the superclass is plant, and then the subclass is flower, bush, or tree. And then the subclass beyond that is, zinnia or rosemary bush. We'll see. Not we'll see. We have seen that is a very inefficient way of doing that as separate subclasses. Um, so rather than doing it as like, I've got 49 flower types currently. That would be 50 files of flower, and then each individual flower, or by by the second option, possibly 60 files of like this is a flower, which is a sunflower, which is a mammoth sunflower. Instead, it is all pulled from the flower.csv file. And I'll pull that up real quick. Yikes, okay. Hints.txt, sunflower simulator, flowers.csv. Okay, so in the flowers CSV file, a way easier way of implementing this, and less cumbersome. They're not all Java files, but this is just all the information and data needed. And these are a lot of these are placeholder values for now, just so we can see the functionality, and then we can go and change these numbers later. But name, species, difficulty, base durability, seed cost, seedling value, bloomed value, matured value, withered value, mutated value, energy restored, days to seedling, days to bloomed, days to matured, days to withered, mutation chance. A lot of these are also going to be workshops too, because I don't think days to withered is necessary. When there's going to be enough events that decrease durability, that you have to work with. And I don't think this seedling, bloomed, matured, or withered value or mutated value is necessary in the CSV when we can establish that with the shop's general rules. A seed value is half of its cost. A seedling value is 90% of a seed's cost. A bloomed value is 125 to 150% of its seed's cost. Basically, I'm going to handle the rules in the code, and as I want to add new flowers, like number 51 will be a spider lily. Spoilers. Um, they they'll pull the stats and names from here, but the internal logic will be done through the code. Uh, I think that's mostly everything. So when we do actually get to coding, which I'm going to do less of talking about on stream, just because I do a lot of like, where was I kind of just spacing out and have an unorthodox approach. And I also just don't want any judgment from people whenever I am not sure how to do something and want to vibe code it. Uh, I ask follow-up questions, okay? I don't just say, Claude, give me the answer, but you know what I mean? Um, Part of why I'm going to be focusing on this modularization, because it isn't, like I said earlier, 1,000 lines. Claude just like gives up on outputting it as a single file, and once we're past that point, then he starts losing some context. Uh, I already know ChatGPT just hallucinates random crap when it doesn't have enough context. Uh, like there is no item subclass or file. Why are you just creating that? It's giving me more work to do. I'm doing this so you do some of the work. Come on. Um, So this is kind of boring, but what we're gonna end up doing is this all kind of stays in the main gameplay loop, or maybe gets added to like a new player class. Um, then I think each individual menu category, rather than being a long ass switch statement in the action menu choice, is going to be in a bunch of little separate files. Um, Something like water garden will be you know, weed or water garden might not be a very long file at all, but some of them might be. Essentially, I'm hoping I'll be able to cut Sunflower Simulator down to a quarter of its size by separating out, you know, case one weed garden all the way out so that it just says case one, and then we call the other file weedgarden.java or whatever. You know what I mean? Um, then it'll be a lot quicker to scroll through all the crap. We won't get confused as much about the nested switch statements inside the switch statements. Useful for displaying action menus, not useful for when you're trying to scroll through and you're like, wait, which menu choice are we even on? Um, for example, I scrolled down to near the bottom and it's saying case one water. I thought that was way up top. Well, it's because when you go through case eight, check, you're given options to water again. So yeah, I do think that doing some modularization is the next step so that we can cut down on redundancy and difficulty with prompting AI assistants. Um, since I've just like explained code the entire time, I am going to go ahead and run it once so we can see the gameplay loop, and then I think I'll sign off of this stream for the evening. I may do either Final Fantasy 11 or some coding um, later, but no guarantees about it being today. Uh, if you're not on Twitch and if you're tuning in from YouTube, please subscribe. It's gonna be fun. Just check in now and then to see how the project's coming along, because I plan on working on this in earnest from now on. Now that I'm not a student and I need something to occupy my time when I'm not focused on being the best boyfriend I can be. So yeah, without further ado, here's a quick demonstration. Welcome to Sunflower Simulator, a gardening game developed with love, focus, and dreams. You hear that, Soonswolf? I was trying to show my cat, but it made the webcam kind of fucky. Um, yeah. Okay, so let's name ourselves after Soonsa since he's sitting in my lap. Eventually the finished game will comment out these debug statements. But 49 flower types, 15 dream files, 2 hint files. Hey there, Soonsa. It's a pleasure to meet you. Let's get you started with some of the basics. Each day you will start with 10 energy. Spend your energy wisely. When you run out, you will need to go to bed. You start with 100 credits to buy seeds. You've been given a mammoth sunflower seed to start your garden. And then it saves. These may also get commented out later. We're just seeing the workflow, the factory process, basically. It immediately creates a save file for Soonsa as soon as you name him, sets the day, the energy, the credits, the flower pots, the inventory, the garden plots, and then there's your first file. So as soon as you type in a name and hit enter, you're already creating. Um, Here's that gameplay loop I was talking about. So obviously there's nothing to water or weed yet. So we'll go ahead and do it. Here's what I was talking about. You can't dig a new garden plot because for some reason it's still saying 15 credits, 15 energy, which was not my intention. That was supposed to be the fifth garden plot expansion. Um, so instead, we are going to craft a flower pot. And I'm going to skip dialogue that's just explaining stuff I've already explained. And return to the main menu. So we've done the build option. Now let's plant. Place a flower pot and plant in it. Use 2 energy. So crafting and planting, that's 4 energy total. Shop. These are randomized. So right now, no bushes, no trees, no 4 stars. You can just go and buy 1 cactusinia seed. I have the menu option for sell items, but if you hit sell items, it leaves the shop. If you hit leave shop, it says please enter a valid choice. So some changes, some bugs to work out, but that's okay. We'll leave the shop for now and plant in an existing plot. Plot is already occupied. Choose an empty plot. Okay, I was just checking. Plant in garden plot 1 the cactusinia. 2 energy, remaining 4. Let's check the backpack. Backpack is empty, as it should be. We planted both the seeds. Trim plants. You don't have any plants that need trimming yet. Plants need to be at least in the bloom stage to be trimmed. But it does function. It increases durability right now once they're past bloom stage. There's going to be more to it than that. I'm going to make it so when it's matured, you can trim a plant, get the flower, plant still exists. As opposed to when it's bloomed and you harvest a plant, you have taken that plant and the garden plot is now empty. Check displays the garden. Checking your garden gives us that average soil I was mentioning and the good soil. The durability on a mammoth sunflower is low, but it's very high on the cactusinia, despite them both being planted the same day. The gardens all start out weeded, but not watered. The flower pot's permanently weeded. Nothing is fertilized, and in fact, right now, I have it as an option that you could water a plot, weed a plot, or fertilize a plot, whereas the water garden and weed garden is everything. And right now, you can fertilize a plot. So 831 basically is the code to do that. Used 1 energy, remaining energy 3. 8, check. 3, fertilized. 4, we fertilize the potted mammoth sunflower. Now we have 2 credits and 71 energy. Last but not least, the journal I'm very proud of. View our journal entries. You can just get like a quick summary of everything that happened. Started my gardening adventure, crafted a flower pot, planted the seed, timestamps, day stamps, everything. Maximum 20 pages. So I think after a certain point, the save file will get incredibly long. Add new entry. This is the Twitch stream. Weird. Okay. So now we can view those journal entries. And as you can see, this is the Twitch stream is added to the final page of the journal. You can also save game and exit from here, or save game and continue. You can return to the main menu, or you can reset the game. I've been doing this a lot because these journal entries get kind of long. If you do a lot of testing or you get past day 30, then you got your full 20 pages of journal entries. But you reset the game. This will reset your game while keeping your name. I eventually want it so that you can keep your name and which other gardens you've unlocked, like the desert garden or the fairy garden. But it won't keep, your backpack or what's planted in the plots and or your journal entries. So here, game has been reset successfully. Welcome to your new adventure, Sunsa. It is day 1. You have 10 energy and 100 credits, and a new mammoth seed, sunflower seed, has been added to your inventory. So just to verify, there it is in the inventory, mammoth sunflower seed. Can plant it. You can go to bed. Going to bed saves and continues. Save, or you can save and exit the game. Each day has a random chance of dream. Days after 7 or 30 has a random chance of hint. And then you can also save and exit. So there's 3 separate ways to save and exit: through journal, through bed, and through X. But that's where we're at so far. I will try ever so hard to make sure that I stream again within a week. But it will depend on my work schedule, my motivation, and my boyfriend. He says not to blame him for stuff, but I'm not having a good day. I'm not gonna do stuff. I'm not feeling inspired. And he's like the main instrument of whether I'm having a good day or not. Call that pathetic, call it emotionally dependent. I don't care. That's just the way it is. I I was expelled. I'm redefining what my life means, and right now it means him and it means this game. And, Final Fantasy and my cat and my family and reading books. I even deleted like Twitter and Facebook and shit, so that it wouldn't so that I wouldn't get in these depressing traps of like doom scrolling and picking fights over politics and whatnot. And I think this is a good idea, and I'm much happier. As for that sound earlier, I'm just getting a bot trying to get me to purchase viewers, which is not what this is for. I am trying to build a community of like-minded individuals. Build a community sounds so conceited. I'm trying to find friends that might be interested in helping out. But for now, math.seal. the smallest, closest to negative infinity, double value that is greater than or equal to the argument and is equal to a mathematical integer. Interesting. Okay, whatever. That is so weird. I'm gonna look that up off stream. Um, but yeah, so most likely you won't see me brainstorming with Claude or any form of AI. You won't see me um, yeah, hunt pecking and typing and just thinking while staring at the screen like you did in previous days. You're mainly going to see quick explanations and demonstrations. If you want to go through every part of the code, my GitHub is available. It's public right now. Um, those will be public, but I'll be keeping the dreams, the saves, the hints, and the flowers proprietary. I'm sure you could reconstruct it from watching a stream or YouTube video yourself, but I ask you not to. The code is open source. The ideas aren't. If I see another game, Sunflower Simulator, on the App Store, I think this is sufficient proof to show that it is my intellectual property. Uh, so yeah, if you have advice though, if you want to be a collaborator, please feel free to message me. If you want to see me play Final Fantasy later today, also feel free to message me. I'm playing Retail 11. I know there's another version of it every time I look at who else is streaming in this category, but I'm hoping to find friends in the vanilla edition. Um, and really like beat slash platinum the game in like the natural way. Uh, you know, the most natural way that's not like going back in time and having a PS2 with internet back in 2011 or whenever it came out. Um, so yeah, I think we're done for the day. I didn't end up using the DOCA free music for Twitch at YouTube thing. I think I'd need a second device considering I'm using a headset to have that incorporated anyway. So whatever. Yeah, I had a great time talking through and explaining everything I plan to do, everything that's not working. And even if nobody views this, I think it was edifying. But if you do want to view it and be a part of things, reach out. Anyway, 我叫 Peter，你呢？再见。